Ready. Let's go. I don't know what they are.
We'll call this meeting of September 12th to order. Would you call the roll, please?
Haig.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes. First item is approval of the minutes of the August 22nd regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Haig.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes. I move that we have a public hearing, open the public hearing for the 2022-23 operating and capital budget.
Second.
Haig.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes. Mr. Schlegel.
Yes, Sharon, we do have a PowerPoint presentation on this evening, so I would direct your attention to the screens here for the next hour and a half.
They come with a pillow.
Yeah, right.
In accordance with the Missouri State Statute, I'm pleased to present the City of Mexico, Missouri's annual operating budget and program of services for the fiscal year that begins October 1, 2022, and ends September 30 on 2023. The primary purpose of the city's budgeting process is to develop, adopt, and execute a financial plan for accomplishing the city's goals in the upcoming year. This budget was developed as the pandemic transitioned to an endemic. While much of the uncertainty associated with the pandemic is behind us, we still continue to navigate many of the lingering effects, such as supply chain issues, high fuel prices, labor shortages, and most significantly, inflation. Staff does continue to pursue partnerships, grants, donations, and other resources to supplement our operating budget. The City of Mexico does adhere to the generally accepted accounting principles applicable to governments, GAAP financing. Government finance is based upon fund accounting and an accounting system that emphasizes accountability rather than profitability. Each fund operates like a separate business within the greater organization. Each fund accounts for different services and activities. Similar to other businesses, inflation has impacted our operations. The consumer price index for our region has risen nearly 9% from a year ago. And if we are fortunate enough to acquire our needed supplies and materials, they are costing significantly more. Providing competitive wages and benefits has placed additional pressures on the city's limited resources. This budget does maintain the fund balance reserves as required by council policy and utilizes surplus savings from prior years to help fund non-reoccurring expenses and purchase capital assets. The preparation of this budget was certainly a team effort, and this budget is balanced, and we are operating in a lean and condensed state. As we look at the total budget numbers, estimated revenues are to reach $24,043,839 with estimated expenses $26,944,954. Expenditures does exceed revenues by $2,901,115, and this will be funded by project reserves, unreserved surpluses from prior years, and the American Rescue Plan funds. Additional expenditures are for interfund transfers, equipment purchases, capital projects, as well as some carryover projects from previous years. The city's total adjusted valuation for this budget has increased. Retail sales tax receipts have increased. Lodging tax receipts are stable, and gross receipts tax income is up slightly. The citizens of Mexico did approve the collection of a local use tax. This tax applies to purchases where no sales tax is currently being charged and does not apply to purchases that is already subject to local sales tax. Receipts from the use tax have exceeded expectations, and revenue from the use tax have been committed to support community and capital improvements, as well as personnel costs needed to maintain these assets. Mexico does receive federal fund, or did receive federal funds to meet the COVID pandemic response. This is through the the American Rescue Plan Act, and the City of Mexico is expected to receive a total of $2,346,358. We've already spent some of these funds on the purchase of a new fire truck and housing incentive program, and the remaining funds have been programmed in this budget to be spent on stormwater projects and revenue replacement for the wastewater operations fund. Revenues from the State Road Fund is increasing 2.5 cents per gallon of fuel purchased annually for 5 years, which started a year ago. The state distributes a portion of these funds to cities and counties for maintenance of our local streets and roads. Therefore, we're also looking at some additional revenues in this area. Reoccurring operational expenditures and costs for replacing capital equipment continues to increase regularly. The Proposition B, which was a minimum wage initiative, went into effect in January of 19, and it raises the minimum wage 85 cents per year until it reaches $12, which will be that on January 1 of 2023. The nationwide labor shortage is currently hitting many employment sectors. We are no different. It has made it very difficult to attract and retain employees, as well as keep pace with rising wage pressure. Far fewer homes have been built compared to a number of people who want them. Therefore, housing rent prices have risen, and the housing shortage has fueled a demand for incentives by cities to help meet this housing infrastructure's needs. The city assesses property at a percent of market value. Therefore, commercial property is assessed at 32% of its value, personal property at 33.3%, residential at 19%, and agriculture at 12%. Tax rates are levied per $100 of assessed property values. This year's total property valuation is a little over $175 million versus the previous year of $158.7 million. So we've seen an increase of about $16.4 million. And of course, the property tax rates will be adjusted in compliance with the Missouri State Auditor's Office pro forma calculation, which is accepting the state-imposed revenue neutral formula. What this has done is lowered the tax rate slightly. We had that hearing at the last meeting. Therefore, the city's property tax rate will be 73.7 cents per $100 of assessed value. How does that break down? For the general fund, 43.95 cents, parks 9.94, and public health at 19.88. And you can see from the graph on the bottom portion of this slide that our tax rate's been very, very stable over the last 10 years. As said earlier, sales tax revenues is increasing. Gross receipts expected to be stable. Lodging is anticipated comparable. And of course, use tax is higher than expected. As we look at this budget, the property and liability insurance renewal rates is estimated to rise 10%. Dental insurance premiums are estimated to increase by 8%, and employee health insurance premiums are estimated to increase 10%. And this budget does include the costs associated with continuing with the high deductible health plan, coupled with the use of a health savings account. The dependent premium increase is being split between the employee and the city. As we look at our staffing needs, the public-private employers around the country continue to seek quality employees. Staffing problems do continue to exist due to increasing wage pressures, lack of available workers, and of course the high employee resignation rate. In this budget, full-time staffing will be decreased by 1. When we compared the city's wages to the region and the geographic marketplace, the city's overall wage rates were below average. Therefore, this budget does include increases in all 3 position classifications and pay range schedules, with a higher percent of increase being dedicated toward the lower position classifications on each schedule. As we look at support for our outside agencies, our charitable agencies, the Mexico Senior Center, we are supporting with $14,000. The Audrain County Historical Society, $4,900. The Miss Missouri Scholarship Pageant, $10,000. Help Center, $5,000. Youth Optimist Sports, $5,000. For our contract agencies, which the Handy Shop for Recycling Program, $12,000. Mexico Chamber of Commerce for marketing activities, $13,000. Presser Hall for community theater and reservation of dates for us, $10,000. And then the Mexico Chamber of Commerce for economic development activities, $5,000. As said earlier, we do seek donations and grant dollars from outside sources. The outside sources that we are anticipating this year is for the American Rescue Plan through the Missouri Department of Natural Resources, 2 different grants, one for stormwater infrastructure, the other for stormwater systems, each at $2.5 million. In addition to that, we're also seeking a grant through Missouri DNR under the ARPA funds as well for a fine grit system at the wastewater plant this is phase 1 of that for $339,700. We're looking at park donations to help do a park slide of $200,000. Under the DOT program for airport runway lighting and apron improvements, $1,224,991. For a MoDOT TEEP grant to do the second phase of the Muldrow Sidewalk Program, $181,500. For MoDOT TEEP for a South Clark study, this is in the business area for $12,000. And then from the county, because this is a joint program, for the housing improvement reimbursement of $190,000. As we begin to look at individual funds, the general fund is the city's chief operating fund. The revenue is estimated at $6,249,763, and the expenditures that do include a transfer out of $240 to the airport fund, a transfer out of $200,000 to the Parks and Recreation Fund, and a set aside of $100,000 for project reserves, for total expenditures of $7,463,397. The non-reoccurring capital expenditures in the general fund total $678,466. Therefore, considering the capital expenditures, the transfers out, and the set-aside reserves, no cash reserve balances are being expended for reoccurring operating expenses. Some of the major items within the general fund this year as far as capital projects: administrative services for PC replacements, $9,450. Public safety for patrol vehicles, $100,000. Firearm upgrade pistols, $29,216. Engineering, GIS improvements, $8,000. Sidewalk replacement, $7,500. Annual stormwater improvements, $10,000. Forestry brush grinding, utility truck body, $13,800. Cemetery, a mini skid steer, $29,100. Rear discharge mower, $12,500. Storage building replacement, $85,000. For street maintenance, hydro excavation trailer, $125,000. A pickup truck, 3/4 ton, $40,000. For building and grounds, a fiber build-out telephone system, $50,000. Community maintenance and roof replacement, $84,150. City Hall space and needs study, $35,000. The City Hall building maintenance, $15,000. And community maintenance and surveillance system rebuild of $24,750. The Capital Projects Fund, this fund was established and activated for the receipt and appropriation of disbursements for capital projects. As mentioned earlier, we applied for 2 Missouri Department of Natural Resource grants for stormwater infrastructure. These 2 grants do total $5,000 total, and the city will need to match that by $525,001 in use of our ARPA funds in this area. Under the Wastewater Capital Improvement Project Fund, this fund was reestablished again and activated for the purpose of upcoming wastewater capital projects. And as mentioned earlier, we applied for a Missouri Department of Natural Resource ARPA grant. And this is for the fine grit filter at the wastewater plant, and $339,700 is estimated to be received this budget year. And this budget reflects the first phase of a 3-year project, and it requires a cash match from the Wastewater Operations Fund. Under the wastewater operations, the revenues are estimated at $3,379,440. Expenditures at $2,314,836, but we also have a transfer of $748,050, which goes to the wastewater debt fund to pay for outstanding bonds. The interfund transfer of the $650,000 to the wastewater capital improvement fund, as mentioned earlier. And then we do have a fund transfer of $30,000 to the wastewater private line repair fund and $80,000 in reserves. So we have total expenditures of $3,822,886. Too fast. The ending fund balance provides for 90 days of operating cash, required reserves for facility restoration and replacement, funds for upcoming bond payments, future capital improvements, and the ending fund balance has been met. We also have in this budget $472,150 for capital projects. Those projects include some GIS automation for $15,000, a pickup truck, $43,500, collection system improvements, $75,000, collection system for slip lining, $100,000, building improvements for an HVAC system, $67,400, lift station pumps, $25,000, jet truck cleaning equipment, $10,000, wastewater treatment plant wet well recycling pumps, $66,250, wastewater treatment plant drives and alarms, $20,000, and the wastewater treatment sludge thickening pump replacement, $50,000. As a part of this, we have experienced a reduction in collection of wastewater fees due to some loss of 3 major users. Therefore, this budget does reflect an 8% increase in wastewater rates. And this budget also includes a transfer of $190,000 from the city's ARPA funds due to the loss of those operating revenues. On the slide, you'll also see that there's a before and after picture. This is of the slip lining programs that we do as far as the underground pipes for making them sealed up and move water more efficiently. The sanitation fund, revenues received from the sanitation garbage utility bills are deposited here. Revenues are estimated at $717,575. Expenditures, $714,873, and we do have some project reserve for equipment replacement on $11,000. The ending fund balance has been met. The city does have a 10-year residential refuse contract with Danes Waste Disposal that runs through March of 2024. Therefore, a new refuse contract will need to be negotiated during this next calendar year. This budget does anticipate a 3.25% adjustment in the base rate, and this rate then will cover the increase in the landfill fees and as well as the residential refuse collection contract. Under economic development, we are estimating revenues at $317,817, expenditures $107,206, but we do have an interfund transfer of $121,169, and that is for the Mid-America NID bonds, reference the AP Green property. The revenue in this is received, and this fund is received from our speculative building ownership, and of course then we have the costs associated with taking care of that. Job creation, retention, industrial recruitment, economic development, planning are all paid out of this area. The city does own the rail spur that serves the business park, and we do have some needed repairs there. The city also owns the AP Green MAV property, and the lease revenue from the current tenants that are there are also deposited into this fund, and we do have some money budgeted in this too for the ongoing site cleanup activities at this area. Under the Parks and Recreation Fund, it is estimated to be revenues at this point are estimated at $2,031,205, with expenditures at $2,254,004. We are reducing the cash balance by $222,799, and this is due to some equipment replacement and planned capital projects and some carryover projects. As you know, we did redo the Fairgrounds Aquatic Center and opened it last year, and we are now planning on looking at 2 additional slides out there, and the slides are to be funded 1/3 with the city's use tax dollars, and the remaining 2/3 will be funded by private donations and dedicated park funds. And as Chad was telling me today, Council, that due to supply issues, there's no way we'll get those slides this year, which therefore they will probably be looking at next fall now before we can move forward. So it does allow our fundraising to commence though as well.
It's our winter swimming out.
Weekend ice skate.
Under Parks Operations, we do have funding for a grading scraper equipment of $3,600, Teal Lake restroom replacement $87,000, Northeast Park a drainage and a grading project $34,750. We have Lakeview Trail repairs $31,500, picnic tables $9,500, Kiwanis Lake a fountain replacement $12,500, and of course we do have the pool slide in here, as we know that will be delayed later in the year. Under Public Health Animal Control, we're estimating revenues at this time at $385,712 with expenditures of $526,457. Expenditures exceed the revenues, and it will be funded from unreserved balances. The reduction for this purpose for continued funding for the dangerous dilapidated building program and nuisance abatements. We're also looking at a new floor surface in the animal holding area of the shelter. The Audrain Humane Society does contribute $5,000 annually to the shelter, and that's to accept abandoned dogs and cats from the Mexico rural area. And the Audrain Humane Society also recommended the city increase animal adoption fees, which would be more in line with other programs in the area, and we're looking at this as well. In the airport fund, we are estimating revenues at $1,493,171, with expenditures at $1,564,775. We are going to bring in a transfer of $240,000 from the general fund to help support base operations, as well as meet the local match necessary for the MoDOT aviation grants. As mentioned earlier, we will be doing a major project for the runway, but those capital expenditures for this new main runway approach threshold and lighting project, which is $1,486,000, is funded 90% by a DOT aviation grant. Under the capital improvement sales tax, this is a dedicated capital improvement sales tax fund. All expenditures are for capital outlay projects, matching grants, and for street maintenance, stormwater. We do have some projects in this area as well. Asphalt overlay projects, we're estimating $325,000. Sidewalk improvements, $60,000. Pavement and curb replacements, $60,000. Smiley Lane extension, $321,100. Mars Street extension, $210,000, and project reserves of $20,000. We're also transferring $190,000 to the general fund for the street and stormwater projects.
190 or 490?
$490,000. Under the Capital Project Reserve Use Tax Fund, this fund was originally established to transfer unreserved surpluses from the general fund to be held for future capital projects. And as a part of the city's debt management plan, we do kind of plan to save and then use the pay-as-we-go approach. Planning ahead does at times increase some cash reserves. However, it avoids the processing fees, interest payments associated with borrowing. By using this approach, we're able to contribute the $200 in cash towards the slide project. The dedicated receipts from the use tax collections are being deposited here, and we're estimating in this year that we'll bring in $521,010 with expenditures of $446,164. The expenditures in this fund is for the new water slide, the $200,000 we mentioned earlier, as well as interest payments on the bank loan for the Aquatic Center. And it's also for supporting personnel costs associated with maintaining the capital projects. At this time, the preparation of this budget document was a team effort. Couldn't have been accomplished without the cooperation of the entire city staff. I'd like to especially acknowledge Roger Haynes and Vicki Dinky for all their support, the department directors for their assistance and preparation of their budgets in a timely manner. And I would sincerely hope this budget is well received by the council and the citizens of Mexico, and we'll attempt to answer any questions council has. And I know you've been over this 3-4 times by now, so.
Any questions from the council?
84 employees. What are we running at?
Well, right now, come this Friday, we're going to lose another one. So if I have my numbers right, I think we're down 9 total, or is it going to be 10 total employees?
It'd be close.
Any other questions? If not, this is a public hearing. If public would like to make a statement, please come to the podium, state your name and address. Try to hold your comments to 3 minutes. Seeing no one come forward, I move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
Haig.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes. Item 5, Bill number 2022-45, an ordinance revising the budget for the City of Mexico, Missouri for the fiscal year October 1, 21 to September 30, 22, inclusive, and adopting the budget for the fiscal year October 1, 22 to September 30, 23, inclusive, appropriating the funds as allocated to various accounts and authorizing the expenditure of such funds by the city manager and other officials for the purposes indicated.
I move for the, sorry.
All I have to say is the public hearing was held. If you have any other questions, we'll answer them. Otherwise, we'd recommend you proceed
Okay.
with 3 readings by title only and passage. The ordinance has been posted this required length of time.
I move for first reading of bill number 2022-45.
Second.
Haig.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bill number 2022-45, an ordinance revising the budget for the City of Mexico, Missouri for the fiscal year October 1st, 2021 to September 30th, 2022, inclusive, and adopting the budget for the fiscal year October 1st, 2022 to September 30th, 2023, inclusive, appropriating the funds as allocated to various accounts and authorizing the expenditure of such funds by the city manager and other officials for the purposes indicated. I move for second reading of bill number 2022-45.
Second.
Haig.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bill number 2022-45, an ordinance revising the budget for the City of Mexico, Missouri for the fiscal year October 1st, 2021 to September 30th, 2022, inclusive, and adopting the budget for the fiscal year October 1st, 2022 to September 30th, 2023, inclusive, appropriating the funds as allocated to various accounts and authorizing the expenditure of such funds by the city manager and other officials for the purposes indicated. I move for passage of bill number 2022-45.
Second.
Haig.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams. Miller.
Yes. Next, bill number 2022-46, an ordinance to provide for the annexation of certain territories to the existing corporate boundaries of the City of Mexico, Missouri. Mr. Schlegel.
Yes, the city did receive a petition from GLH Holdings to annex their property. This is the property just immediately east of Pearl Motor. This is the ones that's identified in blue on the screen before you. The public hearing was held on this on August 8th, and we had to wait minimum 14 days to receive any objections. None have been filed. Therefore, the attached ordinance allows for the annexation, and again, we would recommend council proceed with 2 readings by title only and passage of the ordinance, and the ordinance has been posted this required length of time.
I move for reading of bill number 2022-46.
Second.
Haig.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Bill number 2022-46, an ordinance for the purpose of providing for the annexation of territory to the existing corporate boundaries of the City of Mexico, Missouri. I move for second reading of bill number 2022-46.
Second.
Haig.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bill number 2022-46, an ordinance for the purpose of providing for the annexation of territory to the existing corporate boundaries of the City of Mexico, Missouri. I move for passage of bill number 2022-46.
Second.
Haig.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes. C, bill number 2022-47, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to execute an aviation project consultant supplemental agreement number 1 construction services with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley Incorporated for the design runway 6 displaced threshold runway 6/24 edge lighting replacement and pavement repair at the Mexico Memorial Airport. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor. As mentioned in the title, this is for construction services with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley, our engineering, on the displacement of the runway. They cover additional details of the contract. Russell Runge.
It's a mouthful, isn't it? As Bruce mentioned, this is a supplemental agreement with one, adding funds up to $150,000 to the fees, of which the city would be responsible for 10% up to $15,000 in change. Council did approve this in March. $53,000, and subsequently they agreed. We will receive supplemental agreement number 2 at the next council meeting, we just got it today, which will add construction costs in there as well. Everything was done appropriately, and we encourage guys to do this if there aren't any questions.
Questions? Frazier.
I move for first reading of bill number 2022-47.
Second.
Hay,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Yes.
Miller.
Bill number 2022-47, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to execute an aviation project consultant supplemental agreement number 1, construction services with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley Incorporated for the design runway 6 displaced threshold runway 624 edge lighting replacement and pavement repairs at the Mexico Memorial Airport. I move for passage.
Second reading.
Second reading.
Oh, excuse me, I move for second, I forgot the second reading.
Second.
I move for second reading.
Second.
Hay,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bill number 2022-47, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to execute an aviation project consultant supplemental agreement number 1, construction services with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley Incorporated for design runway 6 displaced threshold runway 6/24 edge lighting replacement and pavement repairs at the Mexico Memorial Airport. Now I move for passage.
Second.
Hay,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes. Number 6A, bill number 2022-48, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign contract documents with Flowmaster Construction LLC for the construction of a maintenance building at Elmwood Cemetery. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor, this is for the construction of the cemetery building. This is basically the shell construction of it. There are other costs associated with it, but to cover the bids received, Chad Schimiger.
Good evening. An advertisement for bids was placed in Mexico Ledger and on the city's website. Construction of a 40-foot by 60-foot metal building at the cemetery. Drawings, specifications, and other related bid information were also mailed to 41 contractors. 2 bids were received with Flowmaster Construction LLC of Mexico, Missouri submitting the low bid. This is a 2-year project in the 2021-2022 fiscal year and 2022-23. This year's budget includes $85,000 for construction of the maintenance building, and next year's budget includes an additional $85,000. The way our contract is written, well, we will certainly not exceed the $85,000 budget in this year. The remainder of the building's completion will go on next year with additional $85,000 is already brought. And we do have some significant sewer line construction costs next year, which of course is, we're looking really hard at pipe prices. Trudy and I are not looking forward to seeing those quotes. Just to get you ready for that. So staff recommends that council proceed with reading and passage of the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to sign contract documents with Flowmaster Construction LLC for the construction of the maintenance building at Elmwood Cemetery.
I move for reading of bill number 2022-48.
Second.
Hay,
Yes.
Briggs. Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bill number 2022-48, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign contract documents with Flowmaster Construction LLC for the construction of a maintenance building in the Elmwood Cemetery. Move for passage of bill number 2022-48.
Second.
Hay,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams. Miller.
Yes. Number 7, first item is payment of claims.
Make a motion to pay the bills?
Second.
Hay,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes. Next item are comments. First from the council. We'll begin with you, Mr. Hague.
Hope everybody had a good Labor Day weekend, and I don't think we've been together since the soybean festival, but I think it was a hit, and it seems like it's cooling off a little bit. Don't know if it'll stay there, but that's about all I have.
Mr. Williams?
Ditto the soybean festival, and also congratulations on your first win of the season,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
And also, good to see you, Russell. Nice to see you here. And that's all I got.
Mrs. Briggs?
Well, I'm sorry to hear about the pool. That's the way it goes. I know it just seems to be the way things are going now, but we look forward to it when it gets here. So other than that, I really have nothing.
Dr. Shivers?
Well, everything seems to be going good. You all said everything. I'm sorry to hear that we're losing another employee on this week. I hope that we have something in place so we might be able to talk to them and get some
Yeah,
information.
that's all, we've
Oh, that's-
already done, so in follow-up to your question, as far as exit interviews, we already have that in place. In fact, we've already done 3 of them already.
Mr. Slagle?
I have nothing this time, Mayor.
You all have already said it all and did a good job of it, so I'll just pass. At this time, we'll take comments from the public. If you'd like to make a comment, please come to the podium, state your name and address, and try to hold your comments to 3 minutes. Seeing no one come forward, I move we adjourn.
Second.
Hay,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.